Have you ever found yourself curious about how much your home is worth or how to get to that price? Well, buckle up because we're diving into the nitty-gritty today. Forget the guesswork and the zestimates. We're talking about the real deal with a pro in the house. Joining us today is the Shane Homan with the Eric Craig Real Estate Team, ready to drop some knowledge on what goes down behind the scenes.
Hey Jess.
What's up?
You ready to get started?
Let's do it. So say that I'm getting ready to sell my house. Can you kind of break it down for me, dumb it down a little bit? How do you get from the very beginning stages and get me to that list price?
Sure. Well, first things first, I have to familiarize myself with your property. So we'll typically set up a listing appointment. I'll meet you here, you'll walk me through, you'll tell me about things that you may have done to the house. Maybe you replaced a roof or upgraded some appliances, things like that. And then we'll just take a look around and I'll see what might be unique about your house compared to other houses in the market. So for example, we're here in the kitchen and you have quartz countertops. So that might be an upgrade. So I'll just pay attention for those things that might have a positive effect on your value.
Awesome. So we've talked about kind of the things that bring the value up in a property. Are there any things that you can point out that maybe would bring down that value?
Yeah, so we might take a look at things like flooring. Maybe your flooring's a little bit older, starting to show some wear. That might be something that would be worth investing a little money in before we take it to the market to just bring back that shine again. Or for example, we have a gas fireplace here. It looks great, but what if it didn't work? That would be something that we would want to get fixed before taking it to the market so that that's not a concern for a potential buyer.
Makes total sense.
Okay, so now that we've completed the walkthrough at the listing appointment, this is where I get to go back to the office and start doing some market research.
Yeah. Hey, weren't you actually an appraiser prior to jumping into real estate?
Yeah. So I worked as a real estate appraiser for about 10 years before doing this, and so that definitely comes in handy whenever I'm trying to value properties. So the first thing that I'll do is I will look for comps. So comps it's short for comparable sales. So what I'm looking for is homes in the market, so nearby surrounding areas that have sold recently that might give us an idea of what this home might sell for. So what we're doing is we're looking for key differences between the comps and our subject property. And so those things that we talked about that might influence value, like the overall condition of the home or upgrades that it might have. And so we compare the two, and where the comp is better, we would make a negative adjustment to our house, and where the comp is worse, we would make a positive adjustment.
So can you give me an example of how that would work?
Yeah, so let's say we have a comp that sold for $400,000 and it's overall very similar to ours, except maybe it has a finished basement and we don't. So that might be worth $25,000 that we would then have to deduct from our value. But let's go further and say maybe we had an extra half bath and a 3-car garage instead of a 2-car garage like the comp had, and so that would give us $10,000 more. And so we would take the 25 minus the 10 and we would end up at $385,000 would be the indication of our value based on that comp. Now typically we want to find at least 3 reliable sales comps because sometimes a house can sell above or below market value, so we want to make sure that is a good indication of value. And so we'll run through this process with 3, 4, 5, 6 comps, however many we can. And we'll see where those values land. And ideally it'll be a narrow range, so maybe 385 to 390 or 395. And from there we'll just decide how aggressive we feel like we can be when we go to the market.
So what comes next?
Okay, so now that we've done our market research and we've looked at comps, now we have to figure out our pricing strategy. Now, the pricing strategy is always going to be based on the client's needs. Maybe they need a really quick sale or maybe they don't. So we'll talk through that. So one approach would be to be very aggressive and price at the lower end of the range in order to generate the most interest possible, maybe even find ourselves in a multiple offer situation where we can drive the price up over our listing price. Another strategy would be to price a little higher and try to do that from day one. What we want to be really careful about though is not overpricing the home. If you overprice your home, you're almost guaranteed to sit on the market. And in this market, when things sell really fast, if you're on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, a lot of times you're going to end up getting lowball offers, and so that can backfire.
So what you're saying is that it really depends on each specific seller and what their timeline and needs look like.
Yes, that's exactly right. And again, that's where we would provide them professional counsel to make sure that they're not doing anything that's going to hurt their chances of selling their home in the time that they need or for the price that they need.
I think I'm ready to sell my house. Thank you again for hanging out with us today with all that great information about how to get to that listing price.
Yeah, you bet. It's my pleasure. Hey guys, if you ever need help at all with figuring out what your home's worth or getting your home listed on the market, we would love to help you. Feel free to give us a call, text, email, anything like that, anytime, and we're here to help.
or just leave a comment in the section down below. As always, make sure to like, share, subscribe, send it to all your friends and family, and make sure that you tune in next time as we bring more awesome content about KC and the surrounding areas. As always, this is Jess with KC Connections.
And Shane with the Eric Craig Real Estate Team.
We'll catch you in KC.